the second one, which you are going to see now, it is a YMCA pool. Inside the YMCA pool is just like this. Okay. Now let's continue. I think you can see.
Yes, sir.
I paddled with my new water wings, watching the other boys and trying to learn by aping them. So he started entering the YMCA pool. We already mentioned that when he was sitting on the bank of the YMCA pool, suddenly he remembered his experience of 3 or 4 years. That experience is going to California Beach, how he was knocked down by the water. But when he came here once again in front of the water, even though it is YMCA pool, that fear came to his mind. But slowly, he managed that fear and then he entered the water. He started imitating other boys who were already swimming in the YMCA pool. He was not all alone. I paddled with my new water wings. He just paddle means swim ചെയ്യുക കയ്യും കാലും അടിച്ച് മുന്നോട്ട് നീങ്ങുന്നതിനെയാണ് paddled. He started swimming with the help of the water wings, watching the other boys and trying to learn by aping them. Aping means imitating. He just watched how other boys are swimming and he tried to just imitate them. I did this 2 or 3 times on different days and was just beginning to feel at ease in the water when the misadventure happened. He says that after this first day at YMCA pool, on other occasions, 2 or 3 days more, he just went to swimming pool and he started feeling little comfortable. He was feeling little eased, feeling little easy to do that swimming or getting rid of the fear. He started conquering his fear little by little. Then a misadventure happened. You see, adventure and misadventure. Adventure is a positive one. Misadventure is an unwelcome adventure. നടക്കാൻ പാടില്ലാത്തൊരു adventure അവന് സംഭവിച്ചു. Now the lesson is speaking, half of the lesson is speaking about this particular misadventure and the experience through which he has just passed. So question can be asked, what is a misadventure that happened to ducklers at YMCA pool? I went to the pool when no one else was there. The place was quiet. He said the first time when he went, he had fear and then he subdued his fear and then he started imitating the boys and he did it 2 or 3 times on other occasions and then happened the misadventure. What is a misadventure? One day he went to the pool. Then he said there was nobody else. Normally when he goes, there will be some people to jump into the water all alone without knowing proper swimming. It would be dangerous and it is fearful. So when he went there, he found that the place was totally quiet. There was nobody. The water was still. വെള്ളം അനങ്ങുന്നില്ല, അനങ്ങാതെ കിടക്കും. When there is somebody inside the water only, it will move. And the tiled bottom was as white and clean as the bathtub. The underneath of the swimming pool was tiled. Tiled എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ എന്താണ്? ടൈൽ കൊണ്ട് ഒട്ടിച്ചതാണ്. In order to keep it very neat and clean. Tiled bottom of the swimming pool was as white and clean as a bathtub. You know what is a bathtub? നമ്മൾ ബാത്റൂമിലൊക്കെ അതിൻ്റെ ഉള്ളിൽ കയറി ഇരുന്ന് കുളിക്കാനായിട്ട് നമ്മൾ അറേഞ്ച് ചെയ്യുന്ന bathtub ഉണ്ട്. അതിന് white color ആണ് normally. Different colors are there. Normally people take white color because white color means if there is any stain, you can just clean it. If it is some other color, you may not be able to identify the dirt. And that is why he says that he is comparing the bottom of the swimming pool, which is already tiled, which is covered with the tiles, with the bathtub, and the water was very white in color and it was very clean. I was timid about going in alone, so I sat on the side of the pool to wait for others. He says that why he was timid? Timid means afraid. He was timid. He was afraid of going alone. He was afraid of going alone inside the swimming pool. Why he was afraid? Because he says that there was nobody else. It was very silent. The water was clean at the same time. It was still. So he just waited at the bank of the swimming pool for others to come. He waited there some time. He thought that let others come, then he will go inside the swimming pool. I had not been there long when in came a big bruiser of a boy, probably 18 years old. So he was waiting there, let somebody come and take together he will go into the water. Because we already seen that 3 or 4 occasions previously he went into the swimming pool. First experience at California sea, that fear was in his mind. But 3 or 4 occasions when he went to YMCA pool, almost he was getting little relaxed. And now on this particular day when misadventure happened, he went there. Unfortunately, there was nobody. Everything was calm and quiet. So he waited that let somebody come. As he was waiting there, he says, I had not been when in came a big bruiser of a boy. What in the bruiser? Body a boy who is a very strong muscled boy. He came probably 18 years old. He appears to be around 18 years. What is the age of the Douglas? He said it was a boy who came was around 18 years. You must understand that normally when a boy who has got muscles, when they meet a boy or 10 or 11, what is the kind? Normally they will feel like making this boy frightened. It's a kind of different kind of behavior. അപ്പോൾ വലിയ ക്ലാസ്സിലുള്ള കുട്ടികളെ ചെറിയ ക്ലാസ്സിലെ കുട്ടികളെ ചുമ്മാ ഓരോ കാര്യങ്ങൾ പറഞ്ഞ് പേടിപ്പിക്കുന്നത് മാതിരി ദിസ് ബോയ് കെയിം ഓവർ ദെയർ ആൻഡ് ഹി വാസ് അറൌണ്ട് 18 years old. He had thick hairs on his chest. In order to give the example of this boy's physical structure and his health, it has been mentioned here. He had thick hair on his chest. He was beautiful physical specimen. If you look at this particular boy, years, he is a beautiful physical specimen. Specimen means one example of a very boy, very mighty boy with legs and arms that show muscles. When you look at his every portion of his body, his legs and arms having rippling muscles. എന്താണ് rippling? നമ്മൾ 3-pack എന്നൊക്കെ പറയുന്ന മാതിരിയാണ്. മസിൽസ് എല്ലാം നല്ല ഉരുണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നത്. ജിമ്മിലൊക്കെ പോയിട്ട് മസിലെല്ലാം ഉരുട്ടി വെച്ച മാതിരി അവൻ്റെ മസിൽ റിപ്പിൾസ് മാതിരി മുഴച്ചിരിക്കുന്നതാണ്. When this boy came, he yelled എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ ഉച്ചത്തിൽ വിളിച്ച് ചോദിക്കുകയാണ്, he is skinny, how would you like to be ducked? അവൻ വന്നു കഴിഞ്ഞപ്പോൾ when he saw that this boy of 10 or 11 years, a weakling, already it was said that he was very skinny എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ തൊലിയും എല്ലും മാത്രമുള്ളവനാണ്, മെലിഞ്ഞിരിക്കുന്നവനാണ്. അവനെ കണ്ടപ്പം ഈ സ്ട്രോങ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ബോയ്, the bully of a bruiser of boy, the boy who normally frightens a younger one, he just felt a little funny, and then he just used his louder voice and just called him he skinny, nicknamed ആണ് അവനെ സ്കിന്നി എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ എല്ലും തൊലിയും മാത്രമുള്ളവൻ, മെലിഞ്ഞിരിക്കുന്നവൻ എന്നുള്ള അർത്ഥത്തിലാണ് അവനെ വിളിച്ചിരിക്കുന്നത്. he skinny, how would you like to be ducked? അവനോട് ചോദിക്കുവാണ്, എങ്ങനെയാണ് നീ ഡക്ക് ചെയ്യാനായിട്ട് ആവശ്യപ്പെടുന്നത്? ഡക്ക് ചെയ്യുക എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ സ്വിം ചെയ്യുക അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ജമ്പ് ചെയ്യുക, വെള്ളത്തിലേക്ക് ജമ്പ് ചെയ്യുക. ഹൗ വുഡ് യു ലൈക്ക് ടു ബി ഡക്ഡ് ഇൻ ടു ദ വാട്ടർ? അവനോട് ചോദിക്കുകയാണ്. മറുപടി നിൽക്കുന്നില്ല. With that he picked me up and tossed me into the deep and he did not wait for reply. What he did, he came and took him. He was sitting there, maybe crossed on the bank with his left hands. He just came into his arms because that boy was very strong enough, a muscled boy. അവനെ എടുത്തു, പൊക്കിയെടുത്തു. Me into the deep end. അവനെ എടുത്തിട്ട് എങ്ങോട്ടേക്ക് എറിഞ്ഞു? ആ ഏറ്റവും ആഴമുള്ള സ്വിമ്മിംഗ് പൂളിന്റെ സൈഡിലേക്ക് ഒറ്റ എറിഞ്ഞു. We know that earlier, already in the description of the swimming pool itself, it was said that the beginning was 2 or 3 feet deep. On the other end, it was 9 feet. Where is he tossed now? He is tossed in the 9 feet deep. He is thrown into the area. He was on the previous 3 occasions, 2 or 3 occasions, he was swimming only in the shallow end. But now this boy came and took him and threw him into the deep end. I landed in a sitting position, swallowed water, and went at once to the bottom. Those of you who know how to swimming, you understand. If you jump into the water in sitting position, you will go down immediately to the bottom. So the way of jumping into the water, there is a different way of jumping into the water. You have to just, if you just flat jump into the water, your chest will go and collide against the water, and it will give you too much pain on the to stop your breathing also. So there is a way of jumping into the water. But this boy, this bruiser of a boy, the bully of a boy, used to frighten the younger one, is known as a bruiser of a boy or a bully. He just came and took him and then threw him into the sitting position, because outside the swimming pool he was sitting. He was lifted up as it is and thrown into the deep end, landed in the position. And then what happened? He swallowed water. As he was going down, he started drinking water. He did not know how to swimming and went at once to the bottom. So without any delay, in high speed, goes into which to the water, he found that he was going down to the bottom. Now, what is his experience? I was frightened, but not yet frightened out of my wits. Mark this particular sentence. The first time when he was going, because 3 times he goes down. The first time when he says that he was frightened, no doubt, but not frightened out. What does it mean by not yet frightened out of my wits? He says that he could think, he could make plan. He was not, even though he was frightened, he could just make a plan in his mind. Whose on the way down, I planned. So the first time when he was going down, he just made a plan. What is the plan? This is the plan. When my feet hit the bottom, I would make a big jump. He says that when my feet hit the bottom, so because he says that when he was thrown, immediately he started going down. He was frightened, but then he made a plan. He thought, okay, I will be able to manage, because with this speed, if he's going to the bottom of the swimming pool, then he will reach very fast. Even though he swallowed water, he will be able to just come up very fast. So what he thought, when my feet hit the bottom, in sitting position, when feet go and touch the bottom of the tiled swimming pool, I would make a big jump. Come to the surface. With that jump, he'll be able to come to the surface of the water, lie flat on it. He will be able to lie flat on the water and paddle to the edge of the pool. And then paddle. Paddle means a swim to the edge of the pool. Question can be asked, what was the plan that he made when he went down into the swimming pool? Or it can be asked that this particular sentence will be given there. Is this happened when he was going the first time, second time, or third time, or none of the above? So on the way down, I planned. Why he says that he was frightened and he was not frightened out of his wits? Because he could just make plan. He was frightened. In spite of the fear, he was able to make plan. So what was the plan? He says that when my feet touched the bottom, he expected that the feet will be touching the bottom immediately, because he was going with a greater speed. I would make a big jump, not simple jump, big jump. Vayankara veliyori jump. Kaal noortha otta chatam chadum. Come to the surface. He thought that with that big jump, he will be coming to the surface of the water immediately, and then he will lie flat on it. He will be able to lie flat on the water surface and then swim to the edge of the pool. This was the plan that he made. Whether this plan is going to take place, whether it will be implemented or not, we will just complete this slide also. It seemed a long way down. He thought that he was going very fast, because he says that the movement was very fast, he felt. But what he planned, immediately he will be reaching to the bottom, and from there he will make a big jump, and then he will come to the surface of the water, and then he will swim to the end of the pool. But it did not happen. As he was going down, he found that he was not reaching the bottom. It took a long way down. How much depth is there? 9 feet. Those 9 feet were more like 90. Even though there is only 9 feet, he was not able to reach as he expected fast. That 9 feet appeared to be 90 feet. You see, when we are waiting at the railway station for someone very close to us, waiting for the person to come, we know that only 5 or 10 minutes for the train to arrive. But if that person is very closer to you, that 10 minutes may be sometime appearing to be 100 minutes or maybe 1.5 hours. So it's a feeling. So here, even though he planned to reach the bottom of the swimming pool and make a jump and escape himself, that 9 feet appears to be 90 feet, means he was not, his leg was not touching the foot of the swimming pool as he expected. And the bottoms were burst. As he planned, nothing happened. His plan was to just make a jump. But in order to make a jump, he must reach the bottom of the swimming pool. But he says that before I reached or touched the bottom of the swimming pool, I had some other feeling. What was that? My lungs ready to burst. He felt that our lungs potting. He felt that is just bursting out. Means he could not breathe. But when my feet hit bottom, I summoned all my strength and made what I thought was a great spring upwards. But finally, he managed to touch the bottom of the swimming pool. And when finally his feet touched the bottom of the swimming pool, he gathered, summoned means he gathered all his strength, all energy, and then made what I thought was a great spring upwards. He thought that it was a great spring, but it was not a great spring. He thought that he made a great spring. But what happened? I imagined. He says that I imagined. When I made a spring, I thought I would bob to the surface like a cork. When he was making that great spring, he imagined that he will be coming to the surface of the water. Bob means a float on the surface, just like a cork. Cork എന്താണ് നമുക്കറിയാം, നമ്മൾ കുപ്പിയൊക്കെ അടയ്ക്കാനായിട്ട് ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്നതാണ് കോർക്ക്. കോർക്ക് വെള്ളത്തിന്റെ അടിയിലേക്ക് നമ്മൾ പ്രസ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് വിട്ട് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ immediately it will come onto the surface of the water. So he thought that with that jump he will be just coming on the surface of the water just like a cork. But what happened? Instead of coming up, I came up slowly. As he was going down, 9 feet appeared to be 90. When he made a jump, he thought it was a great jump, but it was not a great jump because he had already strained out all his energy. His breath was gone, and that is why he made a jump, and that was not very effective. So he came up very slowly. I opened my eyes and saw nothing but water. വെള്ളത്തിന്റെ അടിയിൽ പോയിട്ട് കണ്ണു തുറന്നാൽ നമുക്ക് എന്താണ് കാണാൻ പറ്റുന്നത്? വെള്ളത്തിലുള്ള എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് ഉള്ള ആർക്ക് വേണേലും അത് ഇമാജിൻ ചെയ്യാം. He says that I opened my eyes and saw nothing but water. So inside the water, inside the swimming pool, he opened his eyes. He could not see anything. He saw only water, water that had a dirty yellow tinge to it. So when he was sitting outside the swimming pool, he saw that the water was very clean. It was very silent, etc. It was just appeared like a what he called a bathtub. But now he says that when he opened his eyes, the water was not that clean. It appeared like a dirty yellow color, tinge, yellow color, appeared like a yellow color. I grew panicky. He became frightened. I reached up as if to grab a rope, and my hands clutched only at water. You see, in the swimming pool, in the side of the swimming pool, there may be ladder, there may be rope, etc. for the swimmers to land, because Whenever necessity, they can catch hold of any of those and get into the safety. So now inside the water he is, and he became afraid, and he started grabbing. It appeared like a rope, because വെള്ളത്തിന്റെ മേലെ കിടക്കുന്ന റോപ്പ് നമുക്ക് ഒത്തിരി അടുത്ത് കാണുന്ന മാതിരി തോന്നും. പക്ഷെ നമ്മൾ കൈ കൊണ്ട് നമ്മൾ പിടിക്കുമ്പോൾ it will not reach, because it will be far away. Water that had a dirty yellow tinge to it, I grew panicky. I reached up to grab a rope, and my hands clutched only at water. So he was trying to catch the rope. The rope was very far away, but inside the water he thought it was nearby. But then when he grabbed, he got only water in his hands. He could not get the rope. I was suffocating. ശ്വാസം മുട്ടാൻ തുടങ്ങി. I tried to yell, but no sound came out. He says that I tried to yell. Yell എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ കരയുക, വിളിച്ച് കരയുക. I tried to yell, but no sound came out. ഒരു സൗണ്ടും വന്നില്ല. Then my eyes and nose came out of the water, but not my mouth. Then what happened? He says that only my nose came out. My eyes and nose came out of the water, not my mouth. So the first time when he went down, when he came up, what happened? What portion came out of the water? The portion that came out of the water was his eyes and nose only, but the mouth was under the water. So he could not escape from that particular experience in the first time. This is the first experience when he just went down.